Hey, I have some really great news for all of our girlfriends out there about the Under Outfit bra.
Oh, tell me, what is it?
If you go to underoutfit.com and use the code CHRISTINE for 88883, you can get 15% off.
Really? That's awesome. So wait, it's underoutfit.com and you use the code Christine 488883. And is it correct me? They just don't have sports bras. They have other things.
They do. They have lots of other things. I wore one of their t-shirts on one of our episodes and it looked kind of dressy. It doesn't look like a regular t-shirt and it's really comfortable, nice and soft.
Oh, that was the perfect tee that you were wearing.
Yes, it was. It's called the Perfect Tee.
Okay. So, and remember, these are the sports bras that have the sewn in pads. So it's no more taking them in and out or losing them in the washer or dryer. It's a really great product.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So this is from our first episode where I did This Just Pisses Me Off and it was sports bras. I finally found a sports bra that does not piss me off. These bras are fabulous.
Awesome. I love it.
They've changed my life and I'm not exaggerating.
Awesome. So don't wait. Check out underoutfit.com and get your discount.
Hello and welcome to Not Your Mother's Midlife Crisis. I'm Chris and this is my co-host Chris.
Hi Chris, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. I'm so excited for our episode today.
Absolutely. We have an expert on today that we've been really looking forward to having on the show for you. Her name is Dyna Vink. She's a certified integrated nutritional health practitioner and she is the founder of Holistic Nutritional Lifestyle. Welcome, Dyna. It's so great to have you.
Oh, Chris, I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, Dyna, we are so excited. We cannot wait to talk to you and learn about everything that you're about with your integrated medicine. And not only are you a special guest, but this is a special episode because it's our 20th episode. So thank you for being with us. And thank you, Chris, for spending these 20 episodes with me.
Yes. Mm-hmm. 20 times we did this.
Yes.
For fun.
We
do it for fun and to be with our girlfriends and, hopefully spread some awareness and help some girls out. Mm-hmm. So, Dyna, we'd love to start out first. If you could start by telling us how you became a health practitioner in nutrition for women and what that's been like for you.
Well, it's not a direct path, I have to say. A matter of filling a need, right? There was this void in my life. So I was working in corporate and high tech for 20 years plus. And I ended up being a director of marketing in a headquarter operation with a lot of responsibilities and teams and all over the place. And I found that I was really having trouble keeping up. And I had always been very ambitious, and I started thinking, well, I'm not sure I can manage, these new challenges that are being thrown at me, and second guessing myself, and just wondering how I was going to make it through. And so I went to, the usual suspects. I went to my doctor and I picked a woman doctor because I anticipated maybe I might need her through the transition. And she was no help. She tried to body shame me. So that was definitely not good. I went to my trainer and he gave me this boot camp thing, which just about killed me. That was definitely not the approach that we wanted. And I went to my nutritionist and she gave me a diet with a traditional low-fat, high-carbohydrate, full of processed food type of diet. And this was absolutely not working for me. And so I decided that I needed to just dive into the research and figure things out for myself. And I was pretty convinced I wasn't the only person with this problem, that there must be, something out there for people going through what I had then finally discovered was perimenopause. At first, I didn't connect all the different symptoms, and it was only after the research that I started to see, okay, estrogen has receptors all over the body. That's why I'm getting all these different symptoms. And so I just, managed to calm my symptoms and carry on and be a little more normal. Then when I was in my early 50s, I was exited from corporate, timeout, right? They don't want you anymore. So I thought, okay, I can continue doing this marketing and communication stuff. But it wasn't very rewarding. It was just kind of, you get these little projects and it's not really feeding the need. And I was getting to that stage of life where I wanted to be giving things back to people. You know, you sort of get to that stage and you want to be sharing your knowledge. You want to be helping other people and, you know, helping them avoid some of the pitfalls that you've fallen into. And so then I thought, well, why don't I be a perimenopause coach, right? I mean, that was a rough time for me. It took 13 years of my life, which was quite a long time. And so I started figuring things out. And I started out using lifestyle approaches, which is a whole lot better than nothing. But when I stumbled onto the functional medicine testing through the Integrated Health Practitioner certification, I was blown away because that was just a whole new level of understanding what is going on. So I'm so glad I did, because now it's a lot clearer why all these things are going on, and I can help people with so much more precision and personal catering to their personal biology.
That's a great encore career.
Yes.
Like that really, it gave you purpose. And that's one of the things that we discuss on here too. It's like, kids are grown or you have retired from job. I retired from teaching. What is my purpose?
Mm-hmm.
And you found a really awesome purpose. It's really great.
And another part I was thinking as you said that, it's really why we've done the podcast, is to get the message out that it's okay to talk about these things. Don't be ashamed of aging. Embrace it. Get all the information that you can. And when we can get guests like you that have done all this research, that have all the certification and the knowledge, it really is a win-win. So we're so excited. Yeah, so thank you. And I think that really kind of leads into, what symptoms do you feel traditional medicine dismiss for women entering perimenopause and menopause?
Well, so I can't speak for all doctors, but I can certainly speak, for my what I've seen. And most people seem to think that hot flashes and period changes are the symptoms that you look for. And in fact, there are oodles of symptoms, and some of them are hormonal, but some of them could be completely different. Some of them could be yeast or bacteria overgrowth. Some could be heavy metals. Some could be parasites, right? So there are all these other things that can start to take hold. Once you've got one shift, then it sort of opens the door for other things to step in. There are so many other symptoms, like there's skin problems, there's hair problems, nail problems, joint problems, the whole gut functioning doesn't feel right. There's the energy issue, there's sleep, right? So we've got this quite a wide range of symptoms that all conspire at about the same time, and can leave women really not knowing what hit them. They don't know their bodies anymore. They're not sure what is going on, and it can really throw people for a loop if they don't understand or know what to do.
And you said it best, because I really described like perimenopause is like getting a punch in the face repeatedly, because it is, you don't know what hit you. And the same thing, I remember going, I am so tired and I can't sleep. Like this would be like pregnancy tired. That first term, like that's the way I felt. And they're like, all right, we'll test your thyroid. Your thyroid's fine.
You eat better.
Yeah. And that would be it. Like, and I'll never forget, again, female doctor, just be healthy. I am healthy. Something is not right. So everybody can share in your story and have their own experience from that things, they've just been dismissed, or like, again, it's just aging.
Right. So, and moving into that, what are some like key nutritional aspects that you could share with us that could help women in perimenopause and menopause?
Yeah, well, nutrition is I talk about food as medicine. It's a fantastic place to start. And so first of all, there's hydration. So a lot of women don't get enough water, and that's a big deal. Getting whole foods is so important. And what does this mean? Well, it basically means not eating a lot of processed foods. And these days, it's particularly if women are juggling a lot of things, if they've got family and career and parents and all these different responsibilities, then it's sort of natural to go for prepared foods and save some time that way. But that does not do your body any favors. So just getting to that whole food, call it a Mediterranean diet, is what I recommend. along with the healthy fats of extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil, some healthy oils, as opposed to some of the others, which are actually toxic. So from a nutritional standpoint, there's an awful lot that can be gained. There's some elimination. So sugar is not a good one. Flour is not a good one. Dairy is almost always bad. Eggs, surprisingly, people have a lot of reaction to that, you don't notice right away. It's sort of a delayed effect. Then caffeine and alcohol are also challenging. And why now? It's because there's been this change in the whole biome in your gut that reacts differently to food with the change in estrogen. And then if you have some other things going on, like a gut dysbiosis, then it's going to be even worse. So things that have always been fine are suddenly not fine anymore. and changing your food choices a little bit can make a big difference.
Wow.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. And I can definitely relate to that. I mean, even just different things. Like, again, it would be alcohol would be a good example. Like, you could be able to enjoy a glass of wine, where now I have a glass and I can't sleep, throws everything off. Like, so in fact, I even had a friend say, I think I've developed an allergy to wine.
Yes.
And, and it's all at that same stage. I feel like it's, in that, 50 plus that.
Different things you tolerate. Yeah.
Yes.
And eggs, I definitely see that. I have a friend who no longer can eat eggs, and it started during perimenopause.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy.
So, Dyna, what are some other strategies you would recommend to women to kind of overcome these symptoms or to help alleviate some of the symptoms of perimenopause and menopause?
Well, the next one I'd say is sleep. So how do you...
Yes. We did a sleep episode.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. How do you improve sleep? And well, there are some simple things to do, some sleep hygiene things where you want to have a very dark room so that you don't, get distracted by lights, because even with your eyes closed, you can be very sensitive to light. Having a room cool in temperature, so sort of 68-ish degrees would be ideal. Having absorbent bedclothes like a bamboo or something like that can be very helpful. And then there's the things that you do before bed. So not eating or drinking for, say, 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed can make a huge difference in your whole digestive system. And if your digestive system is working, then you're not going to be having a good sleep, right? Because it's busy. So that's key. And also keeping away from blue light for at least an hour before bed. So, there are these glasses you can wear that can remove it, or you can simply read a book and stay away from the screens. And that can make a huge difference in stopping the stimulation of your brain before you go to sleep. So those are some key things about, sleep. And it's so important to get sleep. And why is that? There's a lot of maintenance that goes on in the body that can only happen when you're in that REM state of sleep. So if you're not reaching the REM state of sleep, then all this maintenance, cleaning out your body and, moving out the toxins, moving out the dead cells, giving the brain new energy, clearing things out, then what happens is that you end up with all this, garbage that's still in your body, and that is not invigorating when you wake up, right? So you end up with all this leftover stuff in your system. So getting a good night's sleep is so important for the whole internal functioning of your body. It's not just, am I awake, right? There's more going on than just being awake.
Right. And it's so hard. Like once, you have that sleep problem, it creates more stress, and then you'll have that cortisol dump because you're stressed and you're trying to sleep. It's this vicious cycle that sometimes I think people fall into and don't know how to get out of.
Yes.
Yeah, that cortisol is deadly. And if you don't get a good sleep, then you're in that stress function that, fight or flight. And that has other implications as well. High insulin.
Oh, definitely. And I appreciate you sharing about the struggles when you were going through perimenopause with work. And really, it does how it impacts your workplace,
your relationships,
and your relationships at work. And again, I felt the same thing. I had a high stress job. And at one point I was like, why am I so anxious. Like, this is stuff that I would do all the time. Well, why is this bothering me? Like, I'm talking to myself, like, what is going on? So I appreciate that you said that it really does, it can impact women in their career. And I think it's Rhode Island just passed
that law,
the law to really help women that are going through menopause, to recognize, to give them the time.
They can have a day off, I believe. It counts as a sick day.
Yeah, that's needed. And that they recognize it as, this, as we know, as legitimate symptoms. So how do you see it impacting people at work or in their careers?
Well, it's a real challenge, because it happens when a woman's at the peak of her career, right? And so just when things are becoming most exciting and also probably most demanding, all these symptoms pile on and make things really difficult. But for me, it would be, the embarrassing thing of walking down the hall, seeing a colleague I'd been in a meeting with and I had been working on some background, could not remember his name, right? And like, what's up with that? And then you're in a meeting and you're about to deliver a presentation, something that you've been tasked to do, and all of a sudden you start getting these hot sweats and dripping, right? And like, what is this? This is just right? This is not a life or death matter. This is just a report in a meeting, and suddenly you're drenched, and the confidence factor that affects that. That's not just inconvenient. And then when you're preparing for meetings, then it used to be, okay, ABC, bang, 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 check, 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 all this done. And suddenly you get stuck on one thing and you're spending an hour trying to figure out something and remember, well, who said that first? And how did that impact it? And, you used to just know this stuff. And so these strategic decision makings are challenging. Or when you're leading a team. So I had a team of people all over the world in, I don't know, 6, 7 different countries. And when you're meeting with them, you want to have a productive time. You want to have an inclusive time. And I wasn't able to focus. And suddenly I'd get irritated. Like, I never got irritated. And suddenly I'm very irritated, and you sort of snap at people or have snarky comments. And
in there.
Yeah. And you're like, what's wrong with me?
Yes.
Like, then you're worried that, am I showing early signs of something else that's, scarier? Like, what path am I going down? And you question everything about your own health.
That's right. So there's so many ways that this can impact. And if you are offered, or if you're being considered for a promotion and you think, oh, I can't take this on. And in my case, our company was acquired by a European company. And normally I would have put my hand up, right away. Mm-hmm. I want to go there. Marketing is a headquarters function. And so if I'm not in headquarters anymore, I better get myself there because that's where the action is. Mm-hmm. But no, I had just gone through separation leading to a divorce. I had all these symptoms that I hadn't, fully understood and tamed. And I thought, this is too much. This is absolutely too much. So I stepped back. I did not accept that natural path. And, that permanently affected the trajectory of my career. So it could be, taking on a project that would be challenging, or it could be, moving to another city to work with another team. All these things are career building. But if you don't have the confidence to take it on, then it's a permanent impact and mark on your career. So mm-hmm. it can really have quite an impact.
Yeah. I mean, like your career wise, financially, like everything,
emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, yes. I mean, you went through all that, and now you're doing what you're doing now to help other women mm-hmm. younger than us. Mm-hmm. to not have to do what you went through. And that's a big deal. That's bigger than any corporate job.
Yeah.
That's more of a mission, a big accolade to, who you are as a person, opposed to whether or not you took that big headquarter job.
Well, thank you. Yeah. But, one of the key things is that many of these symptoms don't stop when you hit menopause.
Oh, no. No, they don't.
Yeah. So one of the myths is that, I only have to wait until menopause and then everything will be fine. And well, some things may be fine, some things may improve, but there are a lot of things that won't. So so dealing with it before it becomes, a really problematic issue is important to long-lived health and to an active, I don't know, third chapter. But
Right.
I'm certainly having way more fun now than I was before. No doubt about
That's
that.
fabulous. Good. There's one thing I'm not sure of your stance on is like HRT. I did not actually see that in any of my research, and I was just curious, real quick, if you could give us your opinion on HRT.
Yeah, so I'm not against HRT. Using some of the approaches that we use in integrative medicine, it may not be necessary, but there are a lot of women that can't take HRT, right? So there are a lot of studies that talk about HRT being very significantly impactful to bone density, to heart health, and to the staving off of dementia. So those are some pretty powerful benefits.
Yes.
Um, but there are different kinds of HRT, and so the body identical is definitely better than taking the pills. Progesterone only comes in pills, but estrogen certainly comes in patches and also in gel, which is fantastic. So I'm fully supportive of that. The only challenge is that a lot of doctors are not really well trained in that. My circumstance is still quite common, and that is my doctor gave me HRT, and it was sort of take it or leave it. It wasn't a matter of playing with doses or different brands, or it was okay. We tried that, and at the time I didn't I didn't know that there were options. It wasn't until I was doing my research, but I was having 60 hot flashes a day, and taking the HRT was not helping. So I thought, okay, that's what it's supposed to help, and it's not. So finished with that.
Right. Yeah. And doing the blood work and
Yes.
figuring out, like now, like now you do that, the blood work to help figure out where you need your level to be. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So being on that, so how far do you feel that women's healthcare has improved since you started your career and have been on this mission?
Gosh, I'm not sure that it has.
Mm.
So
Good.
I think that the conversation has changed.
Mm-hmm.
So there are more platforms, kind of more conversations, kind of like what we're having, that are available now. But I'm not sure that the medical community has really caught up very much. They're still very limited. The doctors don't know anything about nutrition. The whole perimenopause hormonal transition is not in the med school curriculum for more than 80% of doctors. And so there is more research that is starting to be done, but that may be curtailed in the last year or so with political developments. But I can't say that there's really a whole lot of improvement. It's more a matter of educating women outside of the doctor's office
Right.
about their options, and I think that has changed.
Yes.
I think there are a lot more of you out there now. There are a lot more functional medicine practitioners out there than I never even heard of them 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's a lot more of us
Yes.
that are not willing to accept that this is just aging and deal with it.
Right.
And which is good.
Millennials will not accept that. No.
Even us as Gen Xers, we're
Yes.
not going to accept it
Yes.
either.
Yes.
But and we said that it is a hot topic. So how do we continue to improve the conversation? What are some of your thoughts? I mean, is it this? Is it could just continue to talk? Do you have other ideas about how we can really improve this space?
Well, so getting this into the school curriculum, they talk about puberty there.
That's exactly what I just posted this on my Instagram, that if I taught health, if I could go back to teaching health again, we do puberty, we do family health, we do sex ed, and we do death and dying. We completely ignore the middle part of life. I taught health for 20 years, and we never did perimenopause and menopause. For men and women, that's exactly what I said, is I would go back and teach that.
Yeah. No, I think that would really help. And there's also the business of, once you educate yourself, talk to your children, boys and girls. I mean, this is not just a women's issue, right? This is like a people issue.
Mhm.
Yes.
I mean, women don't live in isolation. So this, I think, is, I know with my mother, she was quite open about whatever had happened to her, but she didn't connect a lot of dots, right? So the fact that she fell and broke her shoulder because she had osteoporosis and she had some nerve damage and whatnot, that wasn't attributed to perimenopause, and she became suddenly very anxious, and she never attributed that to perimenopause. So there are things that have happened to our mothers that they didn't, they didn't connect with the change. And if you have a conversation with them to say, did you know that, that this is a bigger story than what you might have thought, it might also fill some gaps for them to say, aha, okay, that makes more sense now. I understand why my marriage fell apart at exactly this time, or, yeah. So I think that just having these conversations is so helpful, and in a constructive way rather than in a kind of
Sure.
challenging.
Sure. Yeah. If our children knew or know what we're going through when they're in their teenage years and their early 20s,
Mhm.
they will at least have a little better understanding and not just think my mom's gone crazy. And also, they will know how to better take care of themselves moving
Mhm.
forward. When they're in their 20s and 30s, they can start making sure that as women, they're staying strong. They're, doing more strength training and protein and the healthy fats, like you mentioned, rather than going, I want to be skinny, I want to,
Mhm.
fit into this or look a certain way, when that isn't really about their longevity and living a healthy life.
Exactly.
Oh, these
Yeah.
are all great.
Yeah. So anything else that you want to share with us, Dinah, that we haven't covered yet that you feel it would be helpful to our listeners?
Yeah. Well, I can talk a little bit about what functional medicine testing is all about, if that's
Fabulous.
useful.
Yeah, that'd be
Okay.
great. Hmm.
Uh, so there are some things that you can test very well using blood. But other things don't show there at all. So anything that metabolizes that you measure, so that's like the waste products that are measured to identify the evidence of what used to be there.
Hmm. Yeah.
So we call it parasite poo, or heavy metal residue. Like those things don't show up on blood tests, but they will show up in things like hair samples, things like saliva samples, in urine samples, or in stool samples, right? So we take samples from 5 different, fluids,
Right.
materials of the body in order to discover what is going on. And we're looking not for illness, because we don't diagnose or treat illness. What we're looking for are imbalances. And so sometimes it's not how much estrogen or how much progesterone do you have, but it's what is the ratio of those two together. That's the more important number. And when you're looking at cortisol, you don't just take a snapshot of once. You look at it over the daytime in 4 different tests, so you can see whether it's following the high in the morning and declining throughout the day pattern that it's supposed to take. And so there are a lot of real subtle changes and imbalances that we can determine from these tests. And they're taken very conveniently in people's homes, so they don't have to go far and wide and schedule big times and everything to do it. So it's quite convenient that way. And then they get sent off to the lab for analysis. So that's a service that I don't think a lot of people are familiar with. They think of blood tests where you go to the lab and they take some bloods, and they say fasting overnight, and show up without breakfast in the morning and all that, and then that's sort of the end of it. But testing can be a lot more comprehensive,
Mhm.
but not very intrusive. So that's one of the things I really like about it.
That's
That's
really
great.
good information. And you offer that service in,
Yes. Yeah.
I know.
yeah.
No, no. And I know we just had a good friend and a listener who did that. She did some of the
Yes.
testing to determine that she had essentially developed a food intolerance, an
Yes.
allergy that was really, again, throwing off, her gut health, which
Yeah.
impacted a lot of other aspects of her life. Hmm.
Yeah. Well, Chris, you mentioned about having a thyroid test, and I
Hmm.
was betting that it was probably only looking at the TSH hormone. Whereas the thyroid testing we do does TSH, but it also does T3, T4, and reverse T3.
Okay.
So through looking at all those different hormones and the antibodies as well, so looking at all the five of them, we can tell a lot more from how your thyroid is functioning than than a traditional doctor would from a blood panel.
Okay, so I know you are not local to us. We are in New Jersey. But if one of our listeners wanted to reach out to you and say, hey, I really want to get, a consult with Dyna, is that possible to them? And how would they do that?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. I do all my work online. I'm actually located in Panama.
Oh, okay.
So this was part of my reimagining my life plan, right? I don't need the cold winters of Canada anymore, so I will relocate myself somewhere nice. And so my practice is online, and the labs are all located in the United States. So the most of my customers are located in the United States. So we have every 2 weeks we get together to talk about what's going on, and there's testing going on, there's intake, we monitor what's happening, we make some adjustments, and so yeah, it's very easy to connect with me online.
Very good. All right. Well, we will be sharing that in our show notes, but you are welcome to share that and all the places that they can find you, all your socials and also your website.
Right. So the website is holisticnutritionlifestyle.com. And there is a link to book a free discovery call where we can have a chat, find out what the symptoms are, and whether you're a good candidate for functional medicine testing. So that's a service that I offer to everyone. I have a YouTube channel at Perimenopause Relief, and I'm also on Facebook also at Perimenopause Relief.
Oh, that's great.
Fabulous. Mm-hmm. All right. Is there anything we're missing? We cover all the bases. Yeah. I'm sure. I think we could probably do this for hours, but we don't want to take up too much of your time. If there's anything else you want to tell us?
So I'm a real mindset advocate, and when I work with my women, I talk to them about this being a pretty unique time in their lives. Right? This is an opportunity where there are changes happening in their lives. It could be empty nest. It could be parents dying maybe and not being there as someone that you need to care for. It could be a career change. It could be retirement. But whatever it is, there are a lot of changes going on, and that change is always an opportunity. And where change lies, I see that as where opportunity fits in. And I encourage women to start thinking about themselves first. That this is the time to actually take advantage of all the opportunities that are probably in front of you and maybe you didn't see. And try reimagining what your life could be like. And when dreams can come true. So if you wanted to write a book, if you wanted to do travel, if you wanted to pick up a hobby or start painting or do a family history or whatever it is, this is the time to say, I'm worth it, and I'm going to set my target on these things, and I'm going to make this chapter of my life the most, interesting and fulfilling that I can.
Oh my God,
I'm crying. I'm tearing up over here. This is the best advice that I've ever.
It's beautiful, and it does it really talks about everything that we've been saying. Because you feel so lost, and you don't want to be afraid, and all these changes are happening.
And we were raised in our generation, and you're so to be strong, and you have to just keep go and pound it, and you don't get to come first.
And I love the same thing. It's like embrace just to love yourself, be happy with yourself, and embrace the sisterhood, right? Like that's why I feel like I just feel like I feel gratitude and blessing every day, and thank you. That was just such a beautiful message.
Yes,
it just resonates.
Very well said.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's up to us, right? There's a lot that we can embrace and being in that positive space sort of shoves fear aside. The gratitude is something that if you're feeling gratitude, you do not feel fear. So
Yeah,
that's
I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Oh, Dinah, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for that new look and education for our listeners. We really appreciate it. They are going to appreciate it. And we will be sure to put all your information in our show notes. And, I hope that they take this time to listen and learn about you and then learn more about themselves as well.
Yes.
well,
Thank you.
thank
Thank
you.
you for empowering women. Thank you. And helping them embrace their health and the changes. So,
Terrific. Well, thanks so much for having me. I really enjoyed our chat.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah.
All right. And to our listeners, thank you again. We appreciate all of our listeners. Congrats on 20 episodes.
Yeah, happy 20th.
And we look forward to talking to everyone next week and seeking answers for women's healthcare.
And supporting one another.
All right. Have a
Thank
great day.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Hey, I have some really great news for all of our girlfriends out there about the Under Outfit bra.
Oh, tell me, what is it?
If you go to underoutfit.com and use the code CHRISTINE for 88883, you can get 15% off.
Really? That's awesome. So wait, it's underoutfit.com and you use the code Christine 488883. And is it correct me? They just don't have sports bras. They have other things.
They do. They have lots of other things. I wore one of their t-shirts on one of our episodes and it looked kind of dressy. It doesn't look like a regular t-shirt and it's really comfortable, nice and soft.
Oh, that was the perfect tee that you were wearing.
Yes, it was. It's
awesome.
called the Perfect Tee.
Okay. So, and remember, these are the sports bras that have the sewn in pads. So it's no more taking them in and out or losing them in the washer or dryer. It's a really great product.
Yes. So this is from our first episode where I did This Just Pisses Me Off and it was sports bras. I finally found a sports bra that does not piss me off. These bras are fabulous.
Awesome. I love
They
it.
changed my life and I'm not exaggerating.
Awesome. So don't wait. Check out underoutfit.com and get your discount.